Converting a van in a foreign country is like reading an IKEA assembly manual written by a baby. We've just acquired a van in Mexico and given it an overhaul interior renovation to be able to take us down the Americas. And now we want to take you through the highs and lows of converting a vehicle for van life abroad.
Kerley, it's time for the van tour. What are you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Cut.
Bienvenidos to our van.
That means welcome in Spanish, and welcome to this unscripted van tour of our Ford E150 cargo van conversion.
We've been in Mexico for a couple months and we just found this van and have been spending the last 20 days converting it into a little home for ourselves.
And first tip, if you're planning to do this properly, don't do it like us, because we use literal hand tools, which you can see in here and in the van tour later. Try and use machinery. That'll make it a lot faster.
It was rough.
So I guess from here, Kerley's probably going to take you on a bit of a walkabout through the van, and we'll talk about the different things that we created, including like the bed, the closets, the clothing area, and stuff like storage. And now that we've been living in it for a week, we can really kind of tell like how we like to move around the van, where things need to go, and hopefully this will give you a bit of advice if you're planning on your own van conversions.
So come along on a little tour.
What was that?
It's as far as my arm can do this.
Okay, if that's grabbed you, then whoa. By the way, Kerley's not really a drunk.
Welcome to the inside of our van. I just want to kind of break it down for you. Why we got this van was we needed a vehicle that could take us all across Latin America, so we would have the freedom to kind of go off and do our own thing, and also a space to work, a space to sleep, a space to keep all of our equipment and everything that we own, doing different filming projects, document how people live, and excited to take you on this journey with us in this van. We've been spending every day, all day, converting this thing. And we started with sort of a blank canvas and gutted it all out, tried to use as much of the existing materials as we possibly could. Only had access to hand tools, so we had a saw, we had a drill and screwdriver, and not much else. And we were able to, by the sweat of our brows, convert this thing with the small tools that we had, and the materials, the existing materials that we had access to. So this was a very resourceful and very scrappy build, so keep that in mind as we show you around. The cost of the build, I would probably say, is about $1,000, and we felt that was really reasonable. We're not in a big city. We have limited access to, we didn't have access to a Home Depot or any big hardware store like this. We just use local shops and local professionals who know how to build and know how to find things and know how to fix things. And we did have to kind of explore around our area and use our broken Spanish to try to get things done. But Harrie and I both have a lot of experience in construction overseas, different cultures and languages, so we were able to kind of figure things out. But this might not be for the faint of heart if you want to convert a van in a foreign country. So now I'm going to talk to you about the front half of our little van. And you can see behind this curtain is the cab, which is not particularly exciting because this is where we drive the vehicle, and that's about it. There's a trash can here. We also keep sort of our laundry and other bags in the front if we're just trying to push it to the side. There's a battery down there for us to use to charge our laptops or phones. And that usually stays behind closed doors. So I'll move on from the curtain to this pantry. So pantry is where all the kitchen stuff goes. If you open here, behind this beautiful tall mirror, you will see a few shelves. So the bottom of the shelves is the cooler. The cooler slides in and out pretty easily, and it's small, but it's enough space for us to keep our cold items. So we fill it up with ice, pack it away there. This drawer has cooking utensils, pots, pans, stuff like this. Our kettle, which is very important for use of making tea. Tea and coffee, which we have like 3 times a day. This drawer has things like plates, some more kind of spoons, forks, knives. One kitchen drawer. This kitchen drawer has food and tortillas and rice and dry goods. And the upper shelf holds all of our spices, cereal, tea, coffee, and other snacks. So this is all kind of a pantry. The clothes is really nice because of the nice little closers that we bought at the local hardware store. Same with this, we have it on closers. And this cupboard is for washing up liquid, paper towels. We have a toilet seat in here because actually our toilet is stored inside just in case we need to use a toilet in the middle of the night. We have a little bucket back there that we can pull out, and that is all for kind of cleaning supplies and toilet. Here we have this pull-out shelf which houses my favorite snack, carrots and apples and other produce. And we have eggs stored in the back there. So that's our little produce basket. And over on this side of the front is what I like to call our utility belt. So this back of the seat pouch, multiple pouches, has a few tools, a fire extinguisher, some waterproofed items, some cleaning items. Now I want to show you our amazing flipping out table, which is extended counter space for the kitchen, so we can use this to, pull out the chopping board, prepare food here, and we have a lot of extended space all along the kitchen to be able to put our stove and do some cooking here. We can food prep, and it's really strong, and it just has these little latches underneath which keep it steady. And when we don't need it anymore, we just push this in, fold it away, and we have so much more space. Speaking of cooking, we've mounted this little holder thing to the side of the wall so we can put knives and whatever these things are called, scissors, spoons, eating utensils, and some cleaning products in here for also easy access. And this is fully secured so it doesn't roll around while we're driving. We put our cutting boards right here, and we have lots of space for the kitchen counter. So this right here is my favorite corner in the whole van. Not just because there's a bottle of almost empty alcohol, but there's a plant. And we wanted this to be just a little extra surface for us to put our books, to put our phones, or to put our plants. And it's really nice to have a little surface here next to the bed. We have a fan which keeps us cool on extra hot nights when we're in humid locations. And we have this hanging bag that we put our fruit and other produce in just to hang it, which also allows it to stay safe while we're driving around. It just kind of swings about. And then we have a map here, which is currently a map of southern Mexico, but will probably evolve to become maps of many different places as we travel. But it's nice to also have a map for inspiration as we're moving around and we're trying to think, where do we want to go and film? Up in the corner there, it's kind of hard to see, but we have a little cigarette lighter charger port, which we're currently plugging the fan in. But if we need to charge our items, we can just charge it in that little port in the corner and then put whatever it is on this little surface. So that's my favorite corner. Also, I think it's important that I mention this shelf, because this I didn't really want, and Harrie put it up and I wasn't very happy about it, but the more we use it and the more I find it super convenient in having access to small things, just putting your phone up here or sliding any small items for temporary storage up on this shelf is really handy. So I take back what I said, Harrie, when I was upset that you put up this shelf. Think about upper space when you're building out your van and what you can use with the airspace above your head near the roof. You can have some really handy storage areas if you just put up a little, I don't know, 6-inch shelf. Super handy, yeah. So let me talk to you about the ceiling. We found these really nice wood slats at a local hardware store, but it was actually really difficult to put in. So just keep that in mind when you're doing the ceiling of your van. It was a bit time consuming, but totally worth it after we've stained and installed the ceiling. We also put carpet in for noise dampening because we do a lot of audio recording and voiceovers inside the van, and we needed something that would kind of absorb the sound and make less of an echo. Together, they look really nice. So this is our closet. I will very proudly say that I built it myself. It's 3 shelves on each side, his and hers, and we just put all of our clothes and some of our toiletries in the closet. And at this point, we couldn't be bothered making more cupboard drawers, so we just decided to make this curtain, which pulls down from the top. It's held up by some hooks and rolls down like so to conceal all of our stuff. And if we ever need to grab something, we just lift it up and down. Super easy and keeps things clean. And the shelves themselves are actually made from the old ceiling of the van, or what used to be on the van. We wanted to repurpose the ceilings and keep some of that story, so we just kind of painted and stained over them, but all of this wood is coming from the ceiling of the old van. And yeah, very functional, very stealthy, and gets the job done.
Okay, now it's time for me to talk you through this lovely long cabinet that I created on this side, and the bed that I'm sitting on this side. Okay, so starting from the kitchen end over here, I'm gonna move the camera so you can see it. Basically, we've created 2 cupboards here. One which holds all the water stuff in, like our big water bottles, so our grey water, and then also our fresh water. We were going to put a sink here, but then we thought, if we put a sink here, then we're just gonna not be able to use the space if the bowl's there all the time. And it also means the kind of taps will be in the way of the view when looking into the van, and there's just lots of things. We thought, you know what, I think it'll be better to have a portable sink. So what we've actually bought is a plastic, just a plastic bucket essentially, that we can fill up with our water, and then we can wash by putting it on here. Or we can wash outside if we fancy it too. So I think that's a much better option. In here, let's slide you down. Here is where the gas and the stove lives. Essentially, that we have a stufa, as it's called in Mexico. This is our gas bottle. So we have rather a large gas bottle because we're going to be going off grid. So we want to make sure that we just have enough and we're not filling up all the time. Obviously make sure you travel in a safe way. We've actually padded the inside of this cupboard here to make sure that when we're driving it isn't rocking around and knocking. And that way we can have a two stove gas burner. And yeah, it just means we can cook better whilst we're on the road. Okay, that's the stove, and I'm just gonna leave it on the side because it's too hard to get back in now. And now I'm gonna slide you down to the pièce de résistance. Obviously, we've decided to change our life and quit our old life behind and become kind of documentarians. So to do that, we both have to have a place where we can live and also a studio. And when I say studio, I just mean a folding up drawer. This is it. So we wanted to make sure that when we designed this space, the original design had the bed over here and there was no airflow over here, and you just couldn't get from one side of the van to the other. So we thought, right, if we put in this long cabinet here with this long surface, we can put things on the surface. Obviously Kerley built the the closet here with all our clothes. We have space for the kitchen, and we can have a in and out drawer. And I'm quite tall, so I'm 6'1" basically. There's 186 centimeters to people that use, and I'm sat down, I'm fully straight, and I can kind of reach the ceiling and I can work. How cool is this? I'm really proud of this. And to be honest, I thought it was going to be really hard to install, because the way that you have to do it is if you have to install the desk first and then add this bit of wood to it. But it wasn't as hard as I thought. The hardest thing were these hinges. I don't know if you've ever decided to like build anything yourself, but I think the hardest thing for me and probably this whole project were the hinges, because they just, you have to get them right, because if they're not right, then they're wonky, then they go in a different direction, and So at the moment, we just have our kitchen cupboards that have hinges on, and then we decided a few days ago, after I already made the hinges, that I don't like them. What I decided instead to do is to have click on one. So look, so then we have these things here, and they will just shove into these little things. And the good thing is, what I also did as well below there is I could have put this long wooden slat across, so then you have to go underneath and it just lines it up perfectly. So, you know, when you have a tiny space, you have to really think about how you're going to use this space and what's going to be easy for you. One of the reasons why we wanted to click on one here too, and then also below it, we've got a click on one that comes out, is because these two areas, they store our big camera bags. So these are the camera bags, wind's up. So these are the camera bags that we're going to be using quite a lot, and it holds all our camera stuff, and we're going to be shooting obviously for the YouTube series and our documentaries we make, and we just needed a big space to be able to put that in. So we also have space, this is where the wheel arch is, have space in the back that can fit any other camera equipment. So this is kind of like the electrical area, and yeah, it fits perfectly. Bang. This is the adventure cupboard. So we've named this the adventure cupboard because inside here we have stuff like volleyballs, snorkeling stuff, life straw, and just like climbing stuff, camping, just everything that we're going to basically use for our little explores, adventures. All our sports stuff lives in this cupboard, so it's quite nice that everything has its own place. Like Kerley will probably tell you that I'm a bit OCD, and like I like things to go in orders and for things to be in certain areas. I don't like the mixing of things. What you will notice is that along the front of here, and you might think, ew, why is there such a big gap running along here? And the reason is, hang on, let me just show you. So the actual reason why we have this gap is because it's for the bed. So when we were designing this, we were just thinking like, because I'm quite long, and most beds anyway don't allow me to have my feet on the bed, I'm always hanging over the edge. We thought, okay, if we're gonna be living in here for quite a long time, how can we be as comfortable as possible? So what we've done with the bed, instead of going across the van, we've gone lengthways. You'll see on this side, at the end of the bed on this side, we have this cabinet. And the reason that cabinet can go there is because Kerley isn't that long. So Kerley's feet only come to like here. So she's got distance between the cabinets, so she's okay to sleep on that side. But my feet go over here. So I have to sleep on this side. So now you're probably wondering, like, how do you sleep? Like, how does the bed work? And for that to happen, I need Kerley to come over here so we can show you exactly how our bed extends out, and then I can show you all the storage space underneath it. Oh, by the way, I made this lovely shelf up here, which Kerley really didn't like at first because she thought it didn't look good, but then I made it look good, and now she loves it. She won't tell you that one. Okay, Kerley, can you help me? Now, usually we pop this up here when we're kind of changing, but because Kerley was drinking ouzo earlier.
Because I'm the village drunk.
Yeah, we can't put that. So we'll just quickly move. I've cut notches in this bed, and then we pull this out, and they come and sit on notches.
There,
we
got
go.
it.
Bed. You'll notice that we have an extractor fan up here, and we have lights, and we have a little 12-volt cigarette charging port over there, and we have an extra light down there, and that's because I did all the electrics and didn't die. But it was frustrating. The way that the electrics have been done in this van, there isn't a fuse box, so it's just basically running off 2 lines that come from the battery, and those 2 lines, one line goes to power this light and this AC, and the other line goes to power one light, the other light, and the DC cigarette charging area. This I've named kind of like the tool and mechanic area. We've got all these extra duvets which were given to us by the previous owners, which are cool. So when we get down to like South America and we need them, that would be great. So, ow. There we go.
MacGyver.
Okay. So at this end, if you come in here, so we've got all the tools that we use. So I've basically tried to put everything in one area. So we've got paints, we've got paint brushes, we've got all the screws, all the nails, the varnish. And then in here is the major tools that we use, like the drill, the hammer, everything like that. And then below that, this is the box that pertains to all of the stuff that we need to be able to fix the car. So we have an extra fuel, just in case we're in the middle of nowhere. We have all the oils and liquids and lubricants that we need as well. Extra rope, gloves, rag, jump cables, battery charger, yeah, gas filter, just all of the things that we might need if we're in a pinch. And basically there, I've decided to put them at this end because it's really accessible. So we can just get these and take that out the end there. So now I'll just put this back in. And then here is just lots of like clothes, and I can't remember what's, I think it's just mostly this, because this is so
just a big blanket.
thick. So the blanket that goes there. Yeah, so by making this, I decided to use some kind of 10 centimeter by 2 centimeter boards because I wanted it to be able to take a lot of weight, and I put like a stabilizing piece in the middle. The front of this, we just used all the offcuts from the ceiling wood, which is really nice. So we've tried to keep like a nice design like throughout the whole of the van. So inside here is most of the stuff that we will need to access on a more regular basis. So for example, we've got yoga mats, we've got mine and Carly's backpacks, we've got like mosquito net, we've got tarpaulin, we've also got the little awning that we can put on the side of the van. And then here, nestled, you see, is the battery. So the battery is here with the fuses, so I can really get access to the battery nice and easy. And also, what I put in here at the end, so at the end, I want you to be able to like access the bed without actually lifting up all this stuff. So I created this, and again, it's just a slide out thing with one of these, and then you can just basically slide it back in and then click it. This is the shower. So I don't know if you've seen these types of showers before, but basically they're a long PVC tube. I painted it black, so in the daytime, the water that sits inside it can be heated up by the sun. And what you do is then you put on a little tap fixture at the end. At the other end is also like one of these that isn't glued in, so we can actually pour water into it. The hose that attaches to that. And then at the other end of the tube, I've installed a bicycle. It's a Schrader valve. So basically we can pump push air into the tube, which will pressurize it. So then when the water comes through the hose pipe, we have pressurized water. Here we have the rest of our shower stuff. We put that here so it's easily accessible. And then we also have this little rack. So then this goes on here. Basically goes on here. And then we have a shower curtain. So we have a shower curtain. We can also just shower in our bathing suits anyway. But we have a shower curtain that we either going to install here, and we might try and install one across here just so it doesn't splash and get our stuff wet when we're showering. But we're still figuring that out. So for me, that's done with Mr. Harrie Kerley, and that's it. I'll hand you back to Carly, who's going to end the video.
All right, friends, that's our van. Thanks for coming on our little tour.
And if you enjoyed this video, or if you have any questions about your own camper van conversions, and if you think we missed anything out, then our email address is actually on our YouTube channel. And please support us by subscribing, hitting that notification bell, because from now on, we're going to be having some epic travel, cinematic documentaries, and a whole new life series beginning.
That's right.
We're headed on an epic quest to find meaning and purpose in different ways of life by immersing ourselves in the many colorful and diverse cultures across the Americas.
So if you're interested, keep following along to see what kinds of crazy adventures we take this van on in the future.
Well, peace out. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Get off.